Yo, it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier, here to talk about some drag race with some special little ladies. First of all, to my right, but that right is actually my left, we've got.
It's me without the beard.
And then below me, we've got.
Nina and Corentina, also known as Floppy Bob.
And then we've also got.
Your of the week, also known as Luke. I've got all the beard still happening.
Yes. We'll give you a full spectrum of beard fantasies. You're welcome. So, I didn't write any notes for this because I was just enjoying watching the finale and everything. But I feel like it's pretty formulaic, right? Like it is like a set sort of section, so we can go for it. Sorry, I think being repeated. Do you guys mind muting yourselves? Sorry, I should have asked before. Sorry, guys. That's better. So if we just go through like the initial like thoughts on the looks, I guess, and all the queens, and then like the lip syncs, I guess that's the best kind of way to do it. Like I said, I didn't write anything down though, so if you guys help me get through this, that'd be appreciated. Hi Kurt, by the way, thanks for joining. And give us your thoughts obviously as you go. Yeah, go on, Luke.
I have one thing straight away. Ruse face Keeney, no. Fail next. By the way, hello Kurt.
What is going on? Like, again, like no one really understood what happened with the face Keeney last week, right? But like, it's been brought back this week and never explained or talked about in any way.
I guess she's just scared of doing a bad makeup on herself. I guess. Yeah, that's the only explanation I can think of.
But there are so many other ways you can tackle that, though. Yeah, go on, Luke.
But also, like, hi, I'm Mother Rue. I am the font of all drag, and here I am giving the crown out to every year's version of the next drag superstar, and I can't even paint my own fucking face. I'm no goop.
Yeah, 40. Bob, did you have something to say?
Top goop of the week.
But like also literally, it's normally one of the only times apart from on the judging panel where she is in makeup. Like normally the finale is where, you know, you get that like, I mean, I'm guessing it's a quarantine thing of like not being able to get someone in to kind of do it. But like, I don't know, like Rue, you've been doing this for long enough. Like, a face Keeney just looks, I mean, like instead looking a bit like the Legend of Zorro, you know, it's a bit like, I don't know.
See, the thing is, like, I totally agree, obviously, what you guys are saying. But at the same time, like, for me, the annoyance is you could have done so many other things, like covering your face, you know? Like that weird, like, wrestling mask thing. But, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I've literally don't know what it is. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It just looks horrific. Then, like, to make... You know, when you have like a centerpiece of an outfit, like on Nature kind of thing, you build like a whole outfit around that. She literally took like, so last week, I don't know what she was doing, like it was just a face mask, a normal outfit. But this week, she built a whole outfit around the shitty face mask to like really make it the highlight, like the center of the whole outfit. Like it makes no sense. Go on, Luke.
I just have so much to say. She was, so apart from the face Keeney, she was basically wearing Bob the Drag Queen's interview costume. Like the black hat and a black coverall cloak. Like, put in some effort. Like, did you see what Crystal did out there tonight? You need to do something, bitch. By the way, Arathio, Kurt thinks that you're hot.
Like, you know what I mean? You've obviously got Gigi's mum's number, you know? Give a girl a holler. She's got connections, right? Like, get something that's not horrific, please. So one day in your damn life. So should we start off? Should we go through? So all the queens like kind of had like a little mini debut, right? I should have written down those, but I think I remember. I guess we talk about like who stood out, who didn't, kind of thing, right? Like, should we talk about initial thoughts on all the queens coming back? Okay, cool. Who wants to go first? Ignore the burglar.
I always want to go first, don't I? I really liked Jan's look. It's like we've seen Detox do the grey look before, but then actually also Jan did it and also Evie did it tonight, so that's a little bit awkward. But I thought it was a great change up for Jan. She never really does that sort of look, so I was impressed by that. Like when they said, and coming up next is Jan, like I didn't recognize her at all. I was like, oh, that's Jan.
Yeah, no, kind of, but at the same time, it did remind me of, she had a look that was similar on the show, like a haunted, like, was it a voodoo doll look or was it another look? I think there's even another look apart from the voodoo doll look. It was also a bit like shower needlesy. So I still think it was super cool. But if she, you know, because she done it look previously, I guess I was slightly less taken aback. I really like Dahlia taking the broccoli and like turning it into like a whole. She's really ran with it, which I fully respect. I thought it was really cool. I thought she looked great. I always think she looks great. It's already gone, Bob.
No, I was going to say, and Kurt's just done it in the comments as well, that yeah, Jan was kind of Edward Scissorhands, and I love that it was like Scissorhands with a little plant, and like it's just really cute. I think this is what I really enjoy about Jan, is I was expecting her to come in and be quite samey with looks, and every week was like, okay, so Jan can do that as well. Looks wise, like I was really impressed by her looks, like generally. So that was quite fun, I thought, for me, and I think like generally, pretty much all of them really like knocked it out of the park. Like Aiden's look was really good. Like there are a couple of other, I'm trying to now think of some of the rest of them. Like I really like Rockham's. Oh, what was the spider? Who was the spidery one? Oh, Widow, of course. Yes, Widow just randomly at a park somewhere. Like just like how did like she not get stopped like by the police for breaking quarantine, like lockdown, like just like in a giant spider outfit? Like what?
It's just a spider out in the park. Don't worry about it. But as I say, when we're watching it, like I was amazed. Like I think all the looks, despite again the situation, limited resources, I guess, and like being at home and under spider or whatever. I think like maybe the best finale looks we've had for as long as I can remember. Really, like all of them. I don't actually. Towards the end, it kind of like fell off a little bit, which is a shame because it's a top 3 or 4. Not all of them were bad, but you know, like I think like every look I was like, wow, you know, and then like the last year I'm like, eh. But yeah, I was just super impressed with all the looks generally. I thought they're all super cool. It's just a shame we didn't really get more of them in those looks, right? It was only really that kind of like intro bit where we saw them. And then they went back to their old looks. I guess the other bits of films from the previous episode. Yeah, go on, Luke.
Also, Rock's look was really good with all the little cards and stuff all over her. I don't normally rate that style of aesthetic actually kind of in any genre. I'm not really an anime or manga person, but I really liked the way that was all put together.
I totally agree. Horatio, what are your thoughts on the Queen's looks?
Yeah, so I was having connectivity problems at the start of the episode. I think it's because I was trying to carry on chatting with you guys on WhatsApp. So then I aborted because it kept sort of buffering. So I didn't really have that much time to see them. So I only saw the first 4. I liked Aiden's. And then I glimpsed later on Edward Scissorhands, Jackie's Edward Scissorhands, but I didn't even have time to register whether it was good or not. I just like the reference. I just need to go back to them. Also, on a note for prospective boyfriends of Luke, you know that he always likes to go first.
I missed that. Who always likes to go first?
You do, sweetheart. You said it.
I know, but like what? Who's prospective boyfriend? I'm lost.
You're giving... No, you're not. But you're giving stuff away. Careful.
Honey, it's written all over my face.
Babe, what is written all over your face, we all know what it is, and it's all wrong.
Oh my god, we're on the finale, guys. Come on. So yeah, for me, as I was saying in the chat, like it kind of fell off where like Heidi's look was kind of meh, and Jackie's look was kind of meh. Crystal's was amazing, the pinata. I thought that would be like the first lip sync looks. I think was it Bob was saying like he wished she kept on for the first lip sync. Because yeah, that was really cool. But I felt like that was the whole thing was based around like a reveal. Like you could do something really cool in terms of lip sync with that look. But it was literally just that like 5-second clip, right? If I just sort of standing there, you got Luke.
Sorry, I was just skimming back through who I was giving toots and shoots to. I gave Nikki Doll a shoot because I really liked the rough. Remember, she had the sort of lilac rough rubber sort of thing around the neck. Do you remember? Oh, go on, you must. Anyway, it was a shoot, just so you know.
It was so good. It was really, really good.
Also, did anyone keep track of how many looks did the top 3 had to rock on this episode? Because so there was the one that they were chatting to Rue with, the piñata and the planety kind of costume by Jada, but that was never used on lip syncs. But then they had different ones on lip syncs. But then they also had the one in the video for voting. So that was another look. So did anyone keep track of how many looks they all, the top 3 in this case, had to rock in this episode? I think more than that.
I would say 4. 4 sounds right to me as well. It was quite a few, but I think we had similar sorts of amounts in previous finales. I'm glad they kept it up. Like they could have like taken an easy way out, right? Had like a couple of looks because of quarantine or whatever. Sorry, yeah, go on, Bob.
I mean, like, yeah, that's what I didn't really understand, because I was like the whole thing thinking like, how is Jada going to lip sync with like this orbit like all around her? Like, I was really intrigued to see like if she could take bits off and like move it around or something. And the same with like the piñata. I was like thinking like, surely this is like a bit of a heads up that we're going to have a song with like a really silly, you know, something like Wrecking Ball, where like she can beat herself up as a piñata and like spill sweets or something. Like, I was totally like trying to buy into like what possible song could Crystal be doing dressed as a piñata, and then it was like never used. But like, what a ridiculously wonderful look. Like, that is so Crystal to just be like, yeah, I'm a piñata. And like, for some scenes of it to be like widthwise, so you see this whole like ridiculous piñata with her like in one like little corner of it, and some like straight on, so she's just got this really like boxy like silhouette. I was just like, this is incredible. Like, I don't know what is happening anymore, but I love it. Like, this is so good.
See, I agree. Although, like when it came to her actual first like close-up lip sync look / interview younger self look, I really wasn't keen. You guys didn't really mind it, right? But I thought it was like especially bad. Like again, like I understand what you're saying in terms of like a good concept. Although for me, even conceptually, I don't think it was great. Like execution wasn't great. Conceptually, it wasn't great for me. Like for me, it was like a 2 out of 10 look. It's like I was severely disappointed. Go on, Ratio.
Yeah, this is also partly why, I mean, I didn't want to chat with you guys. I wanted to be neutral. I didn't like that look at all. Like, I know that she was trying to be out of the box, cookie, like push the boundaries, all of that. It just wasn't nice to look at. You didn't want to look at it. I was also wondering if the hair, the chest hair it was printed, but then she also had more fake chest hair and armpit hair. But it was just gross. It was something out of a horror movie, but a bad one.
No, totally agree. Like I was saying when watching a lip sync, I'm like, I literally can't look at Crystal. She's my favorite, but I literally can't look at her because it's too like grim. Like it wasn't like fun for me, even like a scary, kooky way. It was just like it's just unpleasant, you know. Like the makeup looked bad. I said the execution was bad. I don't know. I was really disappointed in that look. But yeah, go on, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite of hers. I did like elements of it. I can't quite tell what the reference point is that like I've got in my mind for it. I want to say it's actually a My Little Pony reference, but I'm not sure. Like, I feel like it's like a really like dirty, like grungified My Little Pony. That's at least the fantasy. That's the vanilla fantasy that I'm living in my head. But like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I do think it wasn't as polished as it probably could have been as well. That might have made it a little bit sharper.
Okay, so just very quickly, have you guys watched that movie? I think it's early 90s. I think it's The Witches or Witches with Angelica Houston. You know when Angelica Houston reveals herself as a witch? That's the face that Crystal Method was served in. It was horrible. Yeah, The Witches, Angelica Houston, 1990 or 1991.
It's a Roald Dahl book, right? And it was made into a film. Fabulous film from the early 90s. I think that the saddest thing for me about that look was that it was such a it morphed her face so unhumanly that when it was close up, face on lip sync, I couldn't. Not only could I not look at it, but I also couldn't understand. Like it was hard to read her lips, and it was hard to see her gestures because she was buried under so much contorted makeup. So it was a really bad choice for having that look for that moment.
Sorry, just quickly checking WhatsApp, see if Suit wanted to jump in. No, I totally agree. So should we talk about the other looks for that first like lip sync / interview, and then we talk about the actual lip sync itself a bit more? So actually, like this is more of a general note, but I suppose that's okay as well. Is like, you know, I thought Gigi was super strong and could potentially win the whole show coming into the finale, but during the finale, I was like underwhelmed the whole way through with Gigi, mainly with her looks. Like again, like she's a look queen. Like none of her looks were bad, but just like I expected so much more based on the series, especially like quarantine with your mum or whatever. Like you've got plenty of time to sort out some good looks. I know I thought all her looks were super boring, but was anyone like A, you can remember any of those looks? B, like running them great. You know, like none of them were like you know, Crystal were like wow with a piñata, like wow. I was like wowed by the other contestants. Jade is wowed numerous times by her looks. Gigi, I'm like, yes, Gigi, like, you know, Gigi, classic Gigi, right? You see what I'm saying? What are your guys' thoughts on this? Yeah, go on, Luke.
I remember Gigi's first look where she had the big sort of Bo Peep bonnet thing on, and she took it off and the hair was all the way up in underneath it, which was quite cute. I think I can imagine actually for all of the queens, it must have been hard to actually be that creative and do something entirely out of the box new. One, you've not got enough space, as much space as you would on stage. Two, you can't see your designer or anything, so it's literally like just what you can put together. And then you don't really have the space to kind of to show it all off. I think Crystal's look with the pinata was then genius because it was such a simple thing to do and just get a bunch of old like cereal boxes together and it's your costume sorted. Tick. But I liked Gigi's look. I think Gigi's face is always amazing. It was closer towards the end. I think it was the last when they were receiving the announcement of who won, where she had like a pink shadow around the side of her forehead and cheeks. And there wasn't pink anywhere else in the face, but it was just so beautiful. I thought her beat was always really strong. As for Jada's looks, I don't know. I don't rate them tonight. I kind of, they didn't really do. Well, I was shocked when you said that, where are you? You're there. I was shocked at you when you said that they were so great because I'm like, oh, were we watching the same show? Because I was a bit bored and like her face was a bit crunchy to me. And like, I mean, not crunchy by everyone else's standards, but crunchy by Jada standards. But I want to see more on the finale show. Whereas Gigi's face was flawless. I don't know. I kind of rated like at that moment. I was rating Crystal and Gigi as definites to go head to head in the final, and Jada to be left behind.
I totally disagree. Oh, sorry, Rachel. I was quick to say I totally disagree. I thought Jada's, especially like we talk about her other looks later on, but her initial look for the first lip sync and interview, I think that was by far my favorite look. And I like that she's kind of like she always serves like pageant beauty perfection, but like a different vibe every time. I know. I thought it was really great. Like it was a bit different to some of her usual makeup. Also, I guess a lot of time has passed. And I think it worked really well with that look. It was kind of like a '90s like throwback kind of like style of makeup and look generally, I thought, right? That's kind of my interpretation of it. I loved it. It was the only one I actually liked from the first set of looks. So go on, Horatio and Bob. And after that, I'm going to go through Kurt's thoughts on something else.
I mean, I'm not quite sure what the category is that we're talking about, but I'm just going to go with, I agree with Luke. For me, all of Jada's looks, yeah, I'm the new Bob. Sorry, Bob. I'm agreeing with Luke tonight. For me, Jada's looks were very underwhelming, and the only one that I would rate was the Diana Ross one, and even that looked too busy. It looked too busy and crumpled and just not successful enough. Then Crystal methods were a bit hit or miss. So, like I said, I didn't quite rate the Witches one. The first lip sync, even though I loved the concept, it wasn't a look, it was a costume, right? We can all agree that the best was more of a costume than it was a look. But then I also loved the very last look, and I love the pinata. So it was a bit, Crystal was more hit or miss. I was not sure where I stood with her. For me, Gigi Goods were not out of this world, and probably I think what Grant is getting at is that they were not maybe finale worthy, but they were consistently good. I mean, definitely they were. I think they were better than the other two, if that's what we're talking about.
Cool. Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think particularly the sort of Diana Ross Jada look, I did think I agree that I thought it was quite busy as well. It just it was, I don't know, a few of them weren't like, I guess she's so used to having like a look that really like screams through on camera, on TV, like these really big elaborate things, whereas it felt like these were much more like, okay, quick, like got like a little bit of time to get ready, gonna like do a nice mug, but like not kind of go maybe OTT. But I think Gigi was really clever in the sense, at least for that first lip sync, of knowing like it's going to be just on my face. So not only is my face going to be beautiful, my eyes are going to have all of the attention and focus. She played to that really strongly. Like right from the beginning, I was like, I'm watching Gigi. Like her eyes are doing this way more than anybody else is doing. Also, quick side thing: if Gigi's mum is there with her, when did Gigi's mum like film the video, being like, "I'm so proud of you"? Like, did she just like send Gigi out to the shops? Was she just like, "Oh, Gigi, I just completely forgot we're out of something that's really hard to find. Okay, go." Like, you know, what happened there?
I think it's really interesting. We all have like such different views on what we thought of the Queen's looks. I think that's really interesting. So I'm going to go through Kurt's comment. I'm just going to read out his comments because it's quite hard to do it whilst we were chatting. But also, I noticed Yaz on WhatsApp noticed the thumbnail from the last episode, and yeah, good. I think it's a really good thumbnail. I really like that one. Okay, so Kurt's saying, is his fault take overall in the episode or what happened? So I was Team Jada from. I'm sorry, I'm unmuted you. I was Team Jada from half a day through. Halfway through the season, but I'm kind of sad she won because she was the perfect All Stars winner. If Gigi would have won, because if Gigi went back to All Stars, what else would know she would win? But Kurt, but would she do just a bigger tailored coat? Jada is the perfect All Stars winner. Would have scored second in season and just went down. Second season and being the perfect all-rounder queen. That was almost be one sentence. So I couldn't keep my eyes off Jay this episode almost as much as I can't keep my eyes off Horatio. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like Horatio. I kind of feel like personally, like separating queens, like winners from like a queen who's a winner of a normal season, queen who is a winner of an all-star season. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of pointless. Like if they're going to win, they're going to win anyway at some point. Like I think All Stars is good for queens who aren't quite good enough and need some more time to be polished and then come back and slay All Stars. Whereas Jada, that's what you're saying? If I'm getting it wrong, let me know. Jada's already so polished. Like let her win now. Like I don't necessarily want her to come back from All Stars because what else is she going to serve us? Kind of thing. Like she already is like pageant perfection in my opinion. Yeah. Sorry. Go on, Horatio.
Yeah, I think to reply to that comment, and thank you, Kurt, for the nice words. I think that argument applies to both of them. Like, if you bring Jada back to All Stars, like you just said, Grant, what else can she do? And it's the same with Gigi. But yeah, are we jumping ahead? Are we giving our thoughts on the whole result yet, or are we okay? Because I'm gonna save my.
I was just going to say that I think on a lot of All Stars, like the whole point of All Stars is that a bunch of people come back and surprise you because they do so much more than you thought they could ever have done on their season. So like that's like Gigi, sure, if she did All Stars right now, what else would she do? Probably nothing.
Not Latrice.
But give her a year and like who knows? Like it could be, I don't know, she's the complete package.
Sorry, I just accidentally unpinned something from my taskbar instead of clicking unmute. No, so yeah, I agree. I think the difference is like I do agree. Like I don't know what much else Gigi could really bring. Although my one thing with her is she's very young. I have noticed something I actually noticed this episode I wanted to chat about is I do feel like I mean we all love a reference, right? But literally, I think all her looks are references. And to me, although cool and fun for everyone, like we're all having time in our little lives, like you kind of lose her in that, right? Like I want her to like think of like someone like Sharon Needles, first example off the top of my head. Like she is a character in her own right. Whereas Gigi, like I don't really see that as much. Like I guess you weren't like the sort of nerdy teen Stranger Things kind of vibe, but then also that is just a character. You're just doing like Katy Perry video, you know? Like whereas like I don't know, like I'm not seeing I mean she has got like a strong through line and she's obviously very, very, very talented, but I'm not seeing enough of her. And I think that's the only thing that All Stars could potentially serve Gigi better than say Jada. If Jada's older, she's discovered herself, she's sort of, you know, perfected her lane. Whereas Gigi's very great at what she does, but I'd like to see more of her. But yeah, sorry. Who put a hand up, Horatio? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I actually noticed that as well, Grant. But to me, whether there's more room to evolve or not should not determine whether you win the crown or not. And I think it's hard not to jump ahead because I disagree with the final result. So for me, Gigi should have won. Now, on that point, I did notice the referencing or the plagiarism, if you want. Like, yes, it's nice to wear a RuPaul's look, but do we really need that on RuPaul's Drag Race? And it's nice to reference a whole the whole video clip and by Take On Me. I can't remember the artist, but it's unoriginal. It's a very good form of flattery. It's a very good reference. It's very polished. It's very well produced, but it's not original. It's not what we sort of expect now at this stage in RuPaul's. That said, for me, Gigi was the best tonight.
Yeah, go on, Luke.
I think I was just going to say, tiny comment that that yes, I can totally see that. But also, drag is about references. Like, lots of drag is about pop culture references. So it's not all about it, which is where maybe Gigi needs to grow into a little bit more. But it is a lot about it, and she certainly does that bit, which is a lot of it, really well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the thing I'm thinking is, like, think of like the superstars of drag. They've all got such heavily defined characters, you know? I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. She's great at drag and she's a great contestant, but is she a superstar right now? To me, no. But also, I was going to jump on the back of that. It's just something like a GGH show. But I have said like a million times how great I think she is, so everyone can shut up. But like her speech, you know, I was saying it during the thing, and I did want to talk about this. But to me, like, y'all were like, I don't know, like her speech, I think was genuine. It was like something obviously had you know, something she'd experienced and felt, you know. And it was like nice of her to share that, and I respect and appreciate that. But to me, like, bouncing off the point I'm making about her with all the references, not really necessarily like finding her own voice 100% yet, in my opinion. I feel like the speech for me was kind of that as well, and like her behavior throughout the show is kind of that. Like, it's more like if you said, like, if someone asked you before this episode, or generally, like, you know, what is the typical like drag race, like the best or typical or whatever, like drag race, what would you say to your younger self speech? I feel like that was exactly what Gigi gave tonight. You know, like she hit all the beats, like the best of, you know, like the epitome of this speech should kind of hit, you know? And I'm not saying like it wasn't genuine. It was more just like, I feel like she was thinking like, oh, okay, I'm going to say like this thing because this is what a speech, one of these speeches should be, you know? Like I bring out the emotion I feel about this, and like it's what everyone can relate to, and it's like what they expect a drag queen to, do you know what I mean? Like I'm not phrasing it the best way I can, like, you know, that's not my forte, ironically. But you guys get the point I'm trying to make, right? Okay, cool, thanks. Go on, Rachel.
No, I felt the same when she was being interviewed. I thought it was a little bit contrived and not completely genuine. So in a way, I sort of was kind of ready to see her. I wasn't not rooting for her. I was like completely partial. I was like coming into the finale thinking, okay, it's very open. I think any of them can win. And I was kind of slightly predisposed against Gigi, and things like that sort of made me think, oh well, she's not being very genuine. Oh well, she's copying RuPaul's look. Oh, what a lot of ass licking. What a lot of, you know, bollocks. But in the end, she was the best. She was the best of the three. When you compare, I mean, when you boil it down to the last lip sync, that she was the best.
I think that's subjective. I think they're all so close. It is more down to personal taste, I think, personally. But Bob, sorry, what do you want to say about this stuff?
I'm not fully sure if I have that much more to add, but I mean, I think in many ways, a lot of the speeches that queens give to their younger selves, I mean, they are very similar. So whether Gigi was sincere or not, I mean, like, the likelihood is we were going to hear at least one speech that sounded similar to it, just because that's not only how that often goes, but that's actually often as well unfortunately quite a common queer experience often as well. So I don't know. I wasn't quite sure how to take it. I like kind of Horacio was saying, sometimes I don't know if it's like how I feel about Gigi kind of colors that. Like, I don't know if I kind of go into it expecting her to be less genuine because of how I might perceive her. So I don't know. It's hard to call, but yeah.
Sorry, I just want to really quickly say, like, yeah, no, you're right, but it is all within context. Like, if that speech was if I just saw it by itself, like, yeah, I may have felt differently about it. But I think, like, hearing you say that as well, like, my other thing, which I think is so important from these speeches, like, did we learn anything new about her from that speech? You know, like, I really don't think we did, because it's just the story we expected. Go on, Luke, then Horatio.
Yeah, I think I mean, Jada's speech was hit fairly similar marks, didn't it? About the, you know, you're going to experience tough times and people around you aren't always going to like you. Like, there were very similar themes through both of them. I think maybe it seemed less genuine for Gigi because we didn't really see her cry in the workroom. We saw her cry once in an interview. Maybe that's how she was cut together. Like, maybe actually she did cry a lot and we didn't see that. Or maybe it's just where she is on her kind of still trying to be a bit perfect and not let people in because she's still young and not quite sure what she's letting people into yet, maybe as well. yeah, I don't know. I even said in our WhatsApp that that either she's being really genuine and I believed her, or she's being a fucking good actress and I believed her. In either case, I'm there for it.
Yeah, I don't know if those moments when RuPaul asked them, "What would you tell to your 10-year-old self?" are worth anything. I mean, it shouldn't come into the decision anyway. They're quite cringy moments, and they're all fairly similar. I mean, but on the note, did we learn anything about Gigi Good? We did. I didn't know that she was kind of strange with her dad, so I learned that. So yeah, I think we did learn. I didn't know that.
I don't think she's saying she's estranged now. I think she was saying like she had a rough patch with her dad.
Yeah,
which
but
again,
I didn't know that. So you said we didn't learn anything. I did.
I get it. That's what I mean. But it's kind of like the typical like gay storyline, right? Like a lot of people have issues with their parents, and it's rough for a while, and then it's hopefully gets better. You know. Again, I'm not saying that should be discredited or discounted. But sorry, Bob. Sorry, Bob. You unmuted yourself. What's the two?
Yeah, two quick things. The only reason I did that instead of the hand up is Suikin's waiting backstage. But like on a side note, I always actually kind of wonder with talking to their younger selves why they don't talk to their teenage selves, because presumably like 8-year-olds aren't watching the show and like being like, wow, this is such a revelation to my queer self. I feel like teenagers would actually benefit from it much more, and they being like them talking to their teenage self, because I feel like that's actually much more a turning point. I don't know if I'm
maybe their teenage selves are I don't know. There's that awkward teenage phase where sometimes it's hard to find a good picture of someone, but maybe also it's like if their teenage years were particularly hard, maybe they don't really want to go back there. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of seen to be too raw. But I totally take I totally take your point. I think it would be really nice for the teenage viewers to have something more sort of for them to latch onto.
I think that's a really good point, Bob. So I'm gonna add you in, and we're gonna talk about what Smarty said, because I feel like it's kind of like going off the back of this, but not retreading old ground. Hey, Sue.
I'm trying to clap Bob, but it's not working.
Horatio's so smooth.
What were you trying to do?
He's trying to clap you.
Oh, clap me! I thought you said grab, and I'm like, what kind of grab? Like, are you a claw machine? Like, what's going on? Thank you.
He's obviously seen your penis. So Smarty's saying, I would love to see Gigi loosen up a bit. She's so posh, it's almost constricting. So like I definitely agree, Smarty. But like I don't know, I feel like the polishing thing, like I understand the sentiment, like the like intent with that, and I completely agree with that. But I feel like saying someone's too polished kind of doesn't really make sense to me. You know, we kind of talked about that in previous streams, right? I don't think it's a case of being too polished. I think it's a case of like not showing enough of herself, not being vulnerable enough. I don't necessarily think they're like the same thing, but I totally agree with what you're saying. And again, I guess like I think some people have said on the show, some previous contestants, I can't remember who it was this season. I think it was someone this season for sure. They said like, I think it was Gigi. She's like, I just can't, like I am very in my head the whole time. I can't not be like that. It's just the way my brain works. And again, like that's fair enough. That's the case. That's fair enough. But it makes her less endearing and seem less genuine. Unfortunately, on a show like this. So, do we have anything to say about the initial? We've already gone through the initial close-up lip syncs. So, actually, before we move on, Suikin. So, yeah, we're just at that point. So we talked about like the younger self speeches. We talked about the after like Suikin and Luke. We talked about the initial lip syncs, close up, and like the looks and stuff, but all before that point. So, do you have anything you want to say about any of those areas before we move on?
Pinata, Crystal should have had the crown, just the pinata. I love that. I didn't like the close-up lip syncs very much. I thought you lost a lot because I think although it is a lip sync, the body movement's a big part of it. I thought poor Crystal, the makeup ruined her lip sync. Gigi was probably the best out of the three. Her eyes were just like bum 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 bum, and I don't know. I got to be honest, Jada was not as impressive as I've been impressed by her in other episodes. And I'm not mad she won, but I'm not like I saw Luke comment, and the more I thought about it in our chat, and I think Luke was right. Oh my god, I'm agreeing with Luke. So
Stuart, you're jumping ahead. So let's.
Am I?
Yeah, no, let's talk about our thoughts on like who the rightful winner is. Quite yet. We'll get to that at the end. Go on, Luke.
I was just going to say I didn't realize that we had moved on from the close-up lip syncs because I had some stuff to say. I thought it's with the close-up lip syncs, like when it's just about the face, it's just about the face, but it's also just about the camera and what the camera sees and what it sees up close. I love the bit where they all just move in. I thought that was hilarious. But I thought that what Gigi did really well and better than anyone else was to really know where she was in the camera and how far she could go this way and how far she could go that way. Jada was half the time sort of coming up in so close you couldn't actually see her mouth. And then you just lose it. And so therefore it looks scrappy. Even she might have been doing a great job, but if the camera doesn't see it, then we can't see it. And we spoke a bit about Crystal's makeup ruining it for her. But I thought that Gigi's, obviously a lot was said about the eyes. They were perfect. And even like I think the beats the second time through, there were fewer of them. And so she did fewer eye things. Like she was all over that shit. Also, there was a moment early on in Jada's where she was doing some great hand things, which again, when the camera can only see here, yes, it's just your face, but I can use my fingers too. And then she had nowhere to go. Whereas Gigi saved that till the end. And okay, now I'm going to give you more because you've seen all of the wonder that is my face already. So just a much more polished, but I think
and it had layers. We like
layers and polished and in a really positive way. I thought that Gigi was absolutely the winner of that first lip sync. Absolutely.
I agree totally. I think like bouncing off of that and like linking back to what Horatio said, I think in terms of like production and professionalism, yeah, Gigi's were obviously the best throughout the whole night. I don't dispute that at all. Go on, Sio.
I actually thought Gigi had a better cam with them for a moment because her look was so like she seemed to actually paint for the camera she was given, where the others like, I'm gonna do my makeup the way I always do my makeup. With Gigi, her highlight everything. It made her look like she had extra HD or like 4K or something. I do you know what I mean?
Maybe lighting as well, just better lighting. But again, it's attention to those details. Like, right, what they need light to see me, and I need to know exactly where my camera is. It's all those details. It's not just like I'm going to do my usual thing, and they're just going to see how wonderful I am. It doesn't work that way.
Well, it's like I said last week, right? She literally has a screen in the background with her name logo on it, right? Like she knows what she's doing. She's not like hiding in closet, is she? Like she's very professional and like good at marketing and that.
Come on, knows exactly what she's doing, by the way.
No, that's true. That's fair. So what should you talk about next? On that note, should you talk about like Heidi's little skit or any other like little skit bits to talk about? Okay, yeah, go on, Luke. You start with that.
Oh, I just love Heidi so much. I mean, I didn't to start with because she was a bit scrappy, but it's the scrappiness that I really love. And just the ridiculous references, the whistle, the crying in her tears at the end, the whole dressing up someone as RuPaul and having them say that she won the thing, like so ridiculous. Absolutely every step of the way. But like Bob's face right now is exactly it, just chortling with laughter on my sofa, sort of curled up into a ball going, oh my God, she's amazing. In fact, after this is finished, I might rewatch just that bit.
Is anyone saying anything you want to go? Yeah, go on, Bob.
Just like following on from that, like just her addressing like the three wigs and talking about their lack of arms. Like, what is going on? Like, Heidi is just such a weird breakout star of the season. Of like, I kind of think most people don't really care now who wins because Heidi was on that season. Like, Heidi is definitely the person I would go and see live. Like of that whole cast, she's probably the first one I'd want to go and see, like get tickets for. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, what was she? Who left her alone with a camera for long enough for her to do that? Like, that was incredible. Like,
I just thinking like who I'd like to see team up. I'd love to see a show with like Heidi, Chi-Chi DeVayne. Like, there's got to be others who are in that sort of category, right? Like, I'd love to see together and do like a little show or something. But yeah, so should we move on? Should we move on to like how many lip syncs did the top three do? It's just 2, right? Was it 3? What was the second lip sync?
The next one was the Birds one, the one they filmed themselves at home.
Oh, of course. Okay, yeah, of course it was. Yeah. So should we talk about that one now then?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Who wants to start? Suter, you seem keen. Go on.
Crystal is everything I want. I did not know I needed that in my life, and I needed that in my life. I know someone's going to moan that the production value wasn't as good, but it was so good. I loved it. And then she regurgitated something under. Oh my! And how did she? Oh, I loved it. The birds. They're like. It was so good. So I love Crystal. I thought everything she did was amazing.
Sorry. No, I completely agree. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, she's gonna do something kooky, but then she took like another 5 levels above that. Like, we thought we were like high when we saw the pinata look, but when this came on, like, I don't know, it was kind of terrifying in a way. Like, it's really unsettling. Like, I can see it coming back in my nightmares for sure. Like, old style kids shows aren't the tea for me as it is. but it was genius as well at the same time. But also, I don't know why I was trying to. I was trying to like follow it. Like I felt like there's a story going on, like where a bird was gonna like hatch from the egg. Or initially, she's like, "Don't ever change," like kind of thing, right? And then like suddenly the egg's changed and it's a bird. I'm like, what is going on? It kind of made it better in a way, but I thought it'd be some like overall narrative, like some lore behind this scene. But no, it's just like seems totally random. But I loved like every second of it and was scared by every second of it. You're gone, Sue.
Like, I was really hoping the egg was going to hatch and she was going to dress up as a dinosaur, because birds, dinosaurs, are relation or something. Because, you know, it was, I was just picturing the most weirdest thing. Or, oh, I just loved it. And oh my God, it was just, and it reminded me of a creepypasta. I don't know if anyone knows what creepypastas are. They're like those weird fanfics. And I was just, even though it was so innocent, she made it creepy. Like that red eye makeup underneath the mask was the thing of evil. And like, you know, when like, can I mention Evie for the minute, just to compare them from last season? Like, because Evie's meant to be this weird queen, yeah? And I was like, no, Evie's not weird. She's just a budget shower needles. And this made that clear. This is what a weird kooky drag is.
Yeah, I agree. She's kind of like a level above Evie in regards. I agree. Yeah, go on to Bob, then Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like what was so great about it was the kind of low production value in so many parts, where you're just like, it's clear, like she's not hiding the fact that she's pulling these really like tiny wings with this giant face with some strings. Like they're like not hiding the fact that at one point like the yellow bird comes in and there's like a bit missing because of where the green screen was. Like everything about it was just so incredible. Like I think what is just so absurd about it is just like that song could have been a really boring lip sync. Like that's, I mean, I like the song. I love Nelly Furtado. But that song like has potential to be like quite a slow, like, oh, isn't that nice kind of lip sync. She like was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna like regurgitate food like a bird. I'm gonna like hatch my little baby, but like weirdly tying it in, like it fit the song. It like the song has all these bits about, you know, like your faith in me brings me to tears, and she's got this little baby that she's looking after. It's just it's wonderful, and this is exactly why I'm so glad that Crystal made it to the final. Like just for this moment, I don't really care about anything else that comes after it. I'm just glad we got that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think the homemadedness of it all was just wonderful, and like I don't know, you sort of see, oh, she's got these wings that are. Sorry, there's a train coming by outside. I hope it's not too disruptive to my mic. But you know, you kind of think, oh, someone's pulling these props. No, she's pulling those props because she's alone. and here she is with this little bird, and this little bird's looking out of its nest saying, "I'm so scared." just tears streaming down my face. I think it was. I mean, it is a bit costumey, but what I loved about it, absolutely loved, is that she went so much further than either of the other two. It's like, right, we're doing a lip sync, but I get to edit this. And I get to wear different makeup, and I get to be different characters in my own little show. And I'm going to tell a whole story, and we're going to fly away at the end. I'm going to spew into my baby's mouth. And yes, she went there. And even afterwards, like when you see the baby catch it, and then there's the mother one sort of licking its lips, going, yum. Just all those little details, just amazing and wonderful. And she absolutely told the story far better than the other two. I think Gigi's was a nice idea, just hard to compare to such tomfoolery and basically fuckery, as someone else might say. And I thought that just to summarize, Jada's was just sort of okay. It's a dance clip.
Luke, you're moving on too fast. We do one at a time. So Horatio, before we move on, what are your thoughts on Crystal's lips?
Yeah, I can only echo what your guys are saying. I mean, it was the best of the three, but I wouldn't. I mean. I don't know how to say this. I wouldn't. It wasn't. It was not a lip sync. It was more of a performance, which is fine given the circumstances. I mean, they're allowed to do whatever, and they are allowed to produce it, and la la la. I just don't rate Crystal Method as a lip syncer. I think it was quite obvious after tonight's episode and after the last episode before the reunion that she's not a very good lip syncer, as lip syncs are in America. As much as I love this performance, and I reiterate, it was the best of the three solo lip syncs, it was not a lip sync. But that shouldn't take away from it. It was very inventive, it was very creative, it was way more creative, I think, than even Gigi's. And yeah, like Bob said, the budget production kind of aids it rather than hinders it, and it was just gold.
I'm gonna depart and then come back. I've got to go get my charger, or my computer will die. But I'm coming back.
Cool. Okay, I'll add you as soon as you come back. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, Horatio, 100%. But I guess at the same time, like I've got two kind of things to say about that. The first thing is like, you know, the same thing. Like every queen's obviously got a forte, and the important thing is that they know it and then like play up to that. So like again, you wouldn't expect Bianca. Like Bianca's not an amazing lip syncer, but she deserved to win, right? Like she sort of elevated her talent and put that at the forefront, and that's what worked for her. And the other thing I say is like you did kind of have like Crystal had the 3 lip syncs, right? So we saw like her lip syncing, like mouth ability with the first one. We saw like her general dancing in the last one. So I feel like again that makes the second more performance stagey kind of one totally okay, I think, in my opinion, because we saw the others, you know, and you're right, she's less strong with them. So don't do it a third time. I don't want to see like what she did the third time or first time again the second time. I want to see her forte, her shine, you know. And Kurt's saying, sorry, 1 sec, Sue, I'll definitely go to you in a sec. But Kurt was saying, do you think the songs, do you think they picked the songs or where they sent them? I think they picked, but there was probably like certain ones they couldn't have due to like copyright reasons or whatever. So that's kind of my guess, but I'm sure they sort of chose it to an extent. Yeah, sorry, go on, Sue.
I just want to say, I called a good few weeks ago that if they were allowed to make music videos, Crystal would own. I did say that because we were discussing the final, I said if they were allowed to make a music video, Crystal would own them, and she did.
Oh, sorry, you finished too fast. So yeah, so should we move on to who was next? It was Gigi, right? So who wants to start with Gigi's? Yeah, go on, Bob.
I found it a bit of a weird slow starter for me. Like at the beginning, I was a bit like, okay, because you know when like early, like a few bits before, like a few minutes before when we'd seen her like background screen, I was like, I think she's gonna do Take On Me. Like I think that looks like Take On Me. And like again, like we were sort of saying earlier, like less of a reference and more like a complete homage to it. But I like it was a bit of a slow starter for me, and then like actually towards the end, I was like, actually no, she's put a lot into this. Like having the separate bit that she, you know, the frame that she walks towards with like the bit, then you know, her mirror image. I thought actually no, she's really thought this through. Like that must have taken a lot of planning, particularly because all of the individual parts, like the costumes, the you know, because she had to make a print that said name something. She had to like twice, like she had to have 2 versions of that outfit. She had to make all these like stand-up people. So I think it was actually quite weird in that sense that like obviously not to jump ahead too much to Jada's, but actually like both Gigi and Crystal put so much time, it seems, into like the staging around it to make it not look like their front room. Whereas I think Jada's perhaps was like, here is my front room. Not necessarily wrong in and of itself, but like I think it was, yeah, it was interesting. Like Gigi had clearly spent ages putting that setting together, and I think it kind of paid off. But I don't know. The first half of it I was a bit like, okay, are we gonna get anything more than a bit of sidestepping? But yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of that's a good way of putting it, Bob. If you think who's made us think they're not in the front room, definitely Gigi. I mean, yeah, Crystal as well, because it was all about the bed, but. I mean, you could think that that's a video clip. I mean, a very sort of rough one. Yeah. That said, though, it was uninteresting. It was just I was not taken with it. I was like, okay, so what? Also, she off the mark made her signature shuffling move, which she did in the first episode. I guess that's a move that she pulls in her shows that works for her, but it's just like. It probably is a good move, but it just was like, okay, that's too soon. Like maybe reference it later, or she's referencing herself, and it's like, okay, yeah, I was bored. I wasn't really quite getting the Cruella de Vil hair. I didn't know what that had to do in the video clip or what. I mean, I get it was black and white, but Cruella de Vil is a very thing of its own that didn't quite go there. It was just I was really uninterested with the whole thing, as well as it was produced. I mean, it was very good, but it's like, you know, it's like Wagner's operas are very good. Do I want to see them? No, not really.
Sorry, I missed where my mouse was. Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really slow starter. It felt much more like a traditional lip sync, but you had so much more scope to do other things. The thing that disappoints me most is that she realized that, because she had other things, and she did the whole costume change halfway through. Which, by the way, she brushed her lapel at one moment, and it was not painted underneath. Like, it was just all black. The black one with all of the words written across it, she hadn't done underneath. Like, if you're going to be perfect, you're going to be perfect. Just saying. But yeah, it was like I loved the whole mirror image thing. I wanted more things like that were hand drawn and that were sort of looked in different ways. And yeah, she took a whole verse to do anything other than just stand and lip sync. So yeah, you got to do more. I mean, I loved the backdrop, and maybe she thought that we needed time to take all that in, but then she should have referenced the backdrop or things on it when she was lip syncing, or made it more cohesive in some way, like Crystal did, where it was all absolutely involved and necessary. Every single thing, you could see why it was there. Whereas with Gigi's, I was left a little bit like, oh, what is on the background? And I kind of wanted to spend time actually going, oh, that looks like a nice image of her face. But then I was expecting her to do something and she didn't. And I don't know. I was just a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I agree with what everything you guys said with Gigi. I thought it was very good, but the pun, I suppose. I would have loved it if, when she jumped and the costume changed color, if the song had changed, like she'd done a remix, like what do you call it, a mashup. I thought, man, if she had jumped and the song changed, she might have even won if she'd done that. Sorry, I keep referencing. I'm sorry. But I just felt there's something I felt this performance was very aged on her. It didn't seem like a 21-year-old performing. It was strange. Like, and I think the wig aged her. I didn't get the Cruella de Vil reference either. I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's because there was a very deep voice that she was lip syncing to. Just it was too many. Considering the attention and the detail is her big thing. There was a lot of things that didn't quite, when you scrutinize it. It's one of those things when you first watch, oh, she did really good. But the more you scrutinize it, the less good she did. As well with Crystals, the more you watch it, the more fascinated you are with it. And I think that's, and going back to Horatio said it's not a lip sync, I agree with that. I think they should have blatantly said this is a music video because of the new thing. Because the criteria for judging these, you can't judge them as a lip sync. You just can't do it on the same way. And in a weird way, I would quite like in future seasons to do something like this, because I think it's very it shows the creativity of the queens. But Gigi, I think she missed the mark, but she did a good job. And I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't stop talking.
No, I agree with everything you said personally. But before I give my thoughts, Bob, you haven't given? Oh, you gave thoughts initially, didn't you? Of course. Okay, of course, it's gone circle. So no, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. Like, it was like what I expected from her. It's very professional. It's like a proper music video, but I was uninterested. But it's always hard for me to tell because like I don't really like the song. I don't know, it's controversial. I don't really like that kind of music too much. Like, so I don't know whether it's just like, oh, not really for me, not really into it. Like, But then you guys are all saying how I felt, so I'm like, okay, it probably wasn't just that. It probably just was like a bit of a like. It's hard to say. It was a good performance, but it just wasn't particularly like exciting or revolutionary in any way. It's kind of a shame though, because you can obviously see the amount of effort that went into it. And it did come across very polished, so hopefully she's all right with that. So should we move on to Jada's? Can I go first on Jada's? Then we go around, because like again, like you guys know my thoughts if you watch the other streams. Like, I've never like particularly loved Jada. I've always thought she was good, but she's never really like resonated with me. But oh my god, I love this performance. For me, this is by far my favorite. Obviously, it was like the most like budget kind of style, but it sold it to me the best. And I just remembered she said when she first walked in, like she considers herself a female impersonator, like first and foremost, and 100% that's what I was getting from that performance. It was like early 2000s, late 90s, like girl band member or like solo. I mean, it was like a Destiny's Child like kind of vibe to it. She was Sierra, right? Like it was. I think it was like her face, like the way she really sold the lip sync. She really took me there, Whereas the others are like, I guess this is a good contrast to Gigi's, because like Gigi didn't really take me anywhere. It's kind of like Gigi doing a good polished performance, whereas like Jada did kind of like transport me, despite like being like in a very obvious smallish living room. Like she like fully took me to like my Sierra fantasy, And like actually I put in the chat, like Yaz and Sue were like fully turned on by it. And I'm like, I get it, because like I was taken there. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. I think that says a lot, But yeah, do you guys? Who wants to go next? You're going to race. You'll go in reverse. We'll go like rounds. Wait, okay, go around that way. We'll do reverse.
Sorry, look, we're going to agree anyway. Completely disagree. I mean, I'm sorry. She was the worst, but she is also, and I'm going to say something really controversial now. She can't lip sync. She can't coordinate her lips to her moves. If she doesn't move, her words come out. No, you rewatch it. This can be proven with facts. So I don't know if you recall me saying, when was this, on the finale episode, the episode 12, that the one that did have a few lip sync mishaps, and I'm talking about the actual action of lip syncing, was Jada. And Jada, we all know that, well, can I finish first? We all know that she's not a very good a singer, or that's not her forte, or dancing, or all of that. Whoa, what's happening?
Sorry, I'm hand signaling to Grant. It's me next, Grant.
I need to concentrate to bring this point across. So she did have a few slips on that last episode, and watching today's episode, that confirmed it. And I noticed it particularly in this lip sync, because I was watching very carefully. When she did a turn and all of those things that you guys live for, she couldn't lip sync. She loses it. And it's a coordination thing. And I can relate to that. But it's a skill that she doesn't have. I mean, it's funny that the whole thing boiled down to a lip sync, and it didn't work for her as a lip sync. I mean, it worked. The energy worked, the choice of music worked, the look, even though the look wasn't that exciting, even though what she was doing wasn't that exciting. Again, I was not interested in what she was doing. Also, to lip sync for the crown, if you know that this is the last step till the final lip sync, do something, like do a reveal, do a twist, do something. It was so unimaginative. Like, we've seen that lip sync so many times. But trust me, and please don't just say, no, I disagree. It's not a question of agreeing. She doesn't mind the words at the right time, at points. And that's what I have to say.
Sorry, look, I've really, really quickly got to say something. Okay, sorry, just take a second. I would say, like, Rachel, no, you're right. I agree. I noticed it as well, 100%. But also, Gigi did a few times as well. So my point is, like, actually, the only one
she did in the three-way, but she was still the best because she put some thought into it, like doing that.
Well, this is my point, though. Like, you can't hold it against Jada and not hold it against Gigi.
I hold it against Jada because she's consistently failed at it, and she's still been crowned. So yes, I hold it against her. And also, her lip sync, her individual one, for me, was the worst of the three. It was very unimaginative. I was also not interested, even less so that with Gigi's.
See, I buy your second point. I think your second point is valid and it's fair enough. I think your first point is, again, like, they've all got different like things they're best at. You don't have to be like perfect at miming words to necessarily win the crown, in my opinion.
I buy all my points.
And I was going to say, okay, I was going to say that as well. But like, the actually only one I've noticed.
Popcorn.
Touch
my popcorn, no.
Okay, wait, no, so we've got one more kernel left. Because like I said, the only one who's actually lip synced flawlessly, as far as I've noticed, the whole way through, I've been proper watching it, has been Crystal. And like, you think she did the worst, right? But like,
no, she does do the lip sync very well, but there's no energy. She can't dance. There was no actions. There was no reveal. There was no twist in the last one. So look, one cannot do the actual action of lip syncing, and the other one can't really groove or do something interesting with the performance. She's very good. She's very creative. I love her as well, but she didn't win lip sync wise. This is Crystal, but neither did Jada. I mean, to me, it was almost like Gigi should have won by points, if anything, because I wasn't that impressed with her either, but she did to me. Anyway, we're jumping ahead again, but we're talking about Jada's lip sync, unimaginative. She couldn't lip sync.
It's my turn. I like my turn. My goodness, it's got heated in here. I'm going to keep it brief because much has already been said. I mean, don't give me one great big high kick and then wow me again with another exactly the same high kick and call it creative. Like, it's not. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going to do some dancing, fine. And she was dancing well. But I've seen dancing on a stage to lip syncing before. Like, show me something that's worthy of the crown. We had birds flying away and regurgitating into each other's mouths. We had a completely realized backdrop and mirror image sort of paper screen that kind of fit with the whole black and white theme that was all tied together. And we had a queen dancing fairly well, but quite repetitively in her living room. To me, Jada failed that lip sync. She was the worst, and Crystal was the best. And in the first heads only lip syncs, then Gigi won. So I agree with Horacio. I think that when just jumping slightly ahead, but after those 2 rounds, to me, Gigi had won 1 and Crystal had won 1. And so it was going to be one of those 2, or it was going to be those 2 rather, that were going to make it through to the end. I mean, one, and if not, I mean, I think if you take all of their history through the season, it's different. But then don't give me some performance that's all supposed to be based on at the end and have the winner actually end up doing worse. But I've overspoken. Sorry.
No, I agree with Luke on that, Kelsey Breeze. But like I think the only thing I will say in Jada's defense on that lip sync, because I feel like she's being bashful, is I kind of think like that lip sync in many ways, although like I really enjoyed Gigi's staging, what I will say is I think like both Crystal and Jada gave a bit of like who they are a bit more in that. Whereas I don't think I necessarily got like who Gigi, like if this is my first time ever watching, I don't think I'd know who Gigi was from that lip sync. Crystal, I'd be like, right, I kind of get like Crystalness from this. Jada, like you're like, yeah, here's this like sex, here's this kind of like that kind of thing that she brings. Like I agree, like wasn't her best. I would have loved to have seen her really go full production on this, because I'm sure she's got it in her brain to like come up with some really great concepts, like drape the room in something to make it look like, I don't know, some kind of music video or dungeon or I don't know what. But like that was the thing that was a bit disappointing. She did do some like okay-ish cool things with like effects and whatever, but I think as well it didn't help them. I mean, it wouldn't have helped them wherever Crystal had like performed, but the fact that Crystal was first, I think really like fucked. If Crystal had gone last, it would have fucked them all over. I think it's just hard to compete with that kind of steamroller of like bonkers. So I don't know. That's the thing. I really love Jada, and I was really rooting for her in that lip sync. I think that was a disappointing lip sync. I think Horacio and Luca are completely right in that if it were following the rules of that had been set out at the beginning of that episode, that there'll be the 3-way lip sync and then there'll be the individual ones and the top 2 will be chosen from that, I think Jada would have been out. I'm personally glad that she was kept in and we got to see her lip sync again, because I really enjoyed her final performance. But I do think it was a bit strange that they're like, yes, this really matters. Like these things. Oh no, wait, you're all in the final bit anyway. Okay, cool, webs. Like, yeah.
The best thing doing Jada lip syncs is when she's doing this. Look over there. I just think she's sexy and beautiful. I know I can never tell if they got the words right, so that doesn't impact whether I enjoy it. But if she can't lip sync, and I just love the way you just cut her away. So you went ah. But I didn't realize she was that bad at lip sync, and tell you the truth. I just think she's really, really pretty. And I mean like really pretty.
I mean, firstly, you can't rest on pretty. Secondly, Kurt said something in the messages to say, is Crystal's performance as iconic as Sasha's rose petals? I think maybe, yes. I think absolutely it is. I think on Jada's point, Bob just reminded me that like with the whole sort of split screen mirror image, it's like I'm dancing and I want to make it look more special than just me dancing. So I'm going to reverse it and put it on the screen twice. But still, even though she was adding those effects in and some of the color fades and things, it still kind of looked much just like a one shot clip. Like you could have cut other things into that. She could have had a costume change like we saw in Crystal's one, where she's in a even sexier, skimpier outfit and she's in the bathtub or something. Like, come on, dance in a shower scene. Well, you're at home. Why not? Let's live it up. And you could absolutely still be in keeping with the genre and with the era and all of that stuff, because you saw bathroom scenes and poolside scenes and things in those video clips. Like this to me was just dancing in a room, and I thought Jada did a really great season, absolutely, but she didn't perform well tonight for me.
I've heard a lot of controversial stuff on Insta and Twitter that the only reason she got through was due to that shooting, that the murder that the policeman committed due to the ethnicity involved. And I hope that's not true. But now that you guys have, because I didn't realize she couldn't lip sync. I'm just going to be blunt because I can never tell if they got the words right or not. But just to add that in there, what do you guys think about that? Like, I don't think that's why she got through. I think it's just RuPaul favored her. But I've seen a lot of that about, and I just think it's poor taste.
Can I just say before we move on to that, like I said, like I said previously, I didn't get the favoritism of her previously, you know, but like I just think it's a kind of like, for me, like I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying about her performance, but for me it's just apples and oranges, you know, like they're all selling such different things. It's hard to directly compare them. Like I said, like from Jada, like, you know, us three we're getting on like this side, plus Yaz, we're getting, well, this side is in reverse, we're getting like, that's what I'm saying, like real fantasy. Like she said, like I said, she said she's a female impersonator, and I was like fully getting that from her performance. Like it was like a Sierra kind of, like it was like watching Sierra in her living room kind of thing for me. And whereas like the other two weren't trying to really sell that kind of vibe at all, right? So I didn't really feel, that's why I said, like as we were chatting when we were watching it, like I really don't know who's going to go through. Jada still wasn't my favorite. Like Crystal was my favorite by quite a long shot. Jada's not really for me 100%. I don't think I'd really see her live. But like I said, I think they're all just so different, and they all sort of excelled in what they were trying to do. Like Jada, I felt would like sold that fantasy very well. Like Gigi sold like the polished music video fantasy really well. Crystal sold like bizarre, kooky, like what the fuck's going on really well. I think you can really, from my opinion, I don't really think you, and from my perspective, I don't really think you can sort of like compare. Like that one was obviously sloppy, and this one was obviously better than the other one, because they're all just like completely different lanes, I felt. And I think part of it is like, what were they, like what was the exact assignment and stuff. So I think that is part of it as well. Sorry, Horatio wanted to put his hand out first, right? So Horatio, then Luke, if that's cool.
Yeah, I think answering to what Surikan said, I think that's a slippery slope to go to. Like that was also said about Monet Exchange winning because it's black and there was not enough black queens. Let's not give any air to that. I don't think it sheds any light. I do think, however, that there might be an element of Ru wanting to choose diverse queens in different seasons, and perhaps maybe Gigi was too close to Aquaria, and Crystal was too close to Evie, and that maybe is what has played in RuPaul's mind. Because honestly, and this is, I think I'm not alone in this, if it's down to the lip sync, neither the individual lip sync or the final lip sync for me really quite cut it for Jada. And you can say the same about Gigi being a female impersonator. She is a very fishy queen as well. So
I think it's, so yes, I completely agree that they were all bringing a very different piece of drag to the finale. Absolutely. I think it was said earlier that that Crystal is much higher up than Evie. I think she probably goes much further than Evie. I still think Evie is a wonderful queen, and just it's a different kind of kooky. Like it's a much more polished kooky in lots of ways. Like I'm thinking of her clown and her jellyfish were much more polished looks than most of Crystal's looks, although Crystal's looks go so beyond, so out there, which is really exciting. I think next drag superstar to me always is someone who kind of pushes it either in a new direction or in such a shocking kind of new view of an old direction that it makes you sort of stand and go, wow, that's where drag should go next. Like drag should be more like that. And I just don't get that from Jada. I think Gigi, I probably don't get it from either, though she's very, very polished and very good. Crystal, so far, like something entirely new to drag, even though maybe in a similar sort of train to Evie, still completely new and different. Whereas Jada, I feel like if she was going to take us back to kind of old school glam pageant, she needed to be bigger and better at old school glam pageant for me, I think. Like it was not pageanty enough to be pageant, or it was not glam enough to be glam. Like she's very glam, don't get me wrong, and I think she's beautiful. I completely agree with that. I think she's sexy. I think she does all that stuff well, but does she take it in an exciting new place? And for me, the answer is no.
Sorry, it's tricky. I think I should just be reiterating what I said previously. Like I agree to an extent. But I do think she kind of is the epitome of a pageant queen. Like, she's not like an extreme like caricature of pageant queen. She's not like a Kennedy Davenport where like she's pageant but kind of like taken to like a bit of like an exaggerated caricature level for me. Like Jada is more like female impersonator pageant excellence, you know? And again, like I said, like for me, I think it's difficult because I've said the whole time she's not really for me. She's not really my sort of taste. I didn't love a lot of her outfits. I didn't really warm to her that much as a person throughout the competition. But I really did see, in my eyes, I really do think she was great at what she was doing tonight. And it's interesting, like what's going on in the chat, because I think people are like really. I think it's really interesting that you guys. Do you guys? Okay, I got a question to kind of sum up this conversation we just had. Like, do you really feel that strongly Jada didn't deserve to win? Like both Horatio and Luke, and you other guys, you both do genuinely feel like she really thinks she was that much lower.
Absolutely,
than the
I think this was Gigi's. I mean, you know how vocal I've been at times against Gigi. But the finale, this last episode, to me, and that's the sad thing, because in previous years I've disagreed with eliminations and who's in the top 4, but at the end I've kind of agreed that Sasha should win, Aquaria should win out of those 4, Evie Oddly is the best, but not tonight. I'm really underwhelmed about it. It's like really I feel really strongly about it.
I'm exactly the same. I was sort of watching and waiting, and we haven't really got to the final lip sync yet either, which we do need to discuss or mention at least. But at the end, when we wait, since this is what we're talking about now, when we were waiting for the winner to be announced, I'm like, okay, it's going to be Gigi or Crystal. I'm going to be happy and excited, and I'll be able to understand either of those. And then she announced Jada. I'm like, did I just watch the right show? Like, have I missed the whole show and I've just cut it at the end? Like, what did she see that made Jada the best of the night? Maybe best of the season. Like I said, if you're going to compare over the season, then just don't have them do any live performances on the night. But that's obviously not very good television. But for me, I just didn't get it. And like of the first 2 lip syncs, Jada for me didn't win either of them. And in the last lip sync, she also didn't win. I thought Gigi won the last lip sync, and I thought that Jada and Crystal, neither of them did anything particularly special. I quite liked Jada's plastic crown thing at the end, but like, you leave one tiny little trick at the end, you're competing against Sasha Velour's rose petals, for goodness sakes. Like, you've got to do something. Or Evie Oddly's triple head. Like, you've got to bring something, right? The precedent has been set over the last couple of seasons. You've got to do great things. Aquaria had firecrackers on stage and all sorts of things. There were the butterflies, which of course didn't work, but at least she tried. But like, I don't know, don't kick your leg up a couple of times and dance around some balloons. And then, I don't know, it just to me, there was no, I'm just a bit unenthused about Drag Race now, because I'm like that makes no sense to me.
Sorry, Bob. Sorry, just really quick. I just want to say, like, it's just really interesting. I just wanted to point out that, like how strongly you feel that Jada didn't excel tonight is exactly how I feel about Gigi personally. And again, I've much preferred Gigi throughout the competition. So I think it's just really interesting that we both have those kind of views. But Bob, go on, you go next, and then Suter.
I'm gonna buck the trend and like not 100% agree with Luke. For the first time ever, and I'm officially blocked out of his life forever now. No, okay, so there's a lot I do agree with, in the sense that I don't think this was Jada's strongest night. And I think if you do take it on the strength of the whole season, for me, I prefer Jada as the winner. Don't get me wrong, I love Crystal, but I think for me, like, as much as I do agree with Horacio and Luke in the sense that I'm not necessarily excited by Jada in terms of seeing her as the future of Drag Race. Or of drag, in the same way that some of the previous winners have been. But at the same time, there's a lot that I really enjoy about her. And I think if it was just based on the season entirely, I think for me, going into this night, although it was obviously slightly, I did get a slight spoiler alert, but for me, I was kind of hoping in my heart of hearts, Crystal, but knowing it probably wouldn't happen, and kind of having kind of Jada as my kind of go-to, who I'd be quite happy to have win. I personally think Jada was better in the final lip sync, and we'll go on to talk about that in a mo. I do agree, though, in the sense that I think leading up to that, her first 2 lip syncs, I think, for me, wanting Jada to really excel in them, I wasn't that excited by her first 2 lip syncs of the night. I didn't mention it earlier, but actually, with her going up close to the camera, she kept on doing quite unflattering angles as well, where she's kind of like very like lots of things. I'm like, come on, Jada, you're better than this. I think as well, like, I do think as well, perhaps her getting to that final bit was also just like testament to the fact that Jada has quite a big following and a lot of people who really, really enjoyed her this season. And I think maybe it was like her making it through those first 2 rounds was kind of a nod to the fact that actually a lot of fans would really love to see her do that final lip sync. For me personally, I think she won the final lip sync, but for me that felt a little bit tainted by the fact that I was a bit let down by the first 2. I'm not mad at all. I would have been happy pretty much whoever won. I'm kind of one of those annoying people in this. I was like, whoever wins this final is great by me. But for me, like, I don't think I'll necessarily be upset seeing, like, you know, next season when like the crowning, you know, that the crown is handed over. I won't be upset seeing Jada hand it over to someone. But I think, I think that's what's quite thorny about this. I really love Jada, really happy that she won. Don't necessarily know if this cements her win in the way that makes the most sense for the fan base, if that makes sense. So I think if she'd absolutely killed the night, I think it would have been, obviously she'd have been in a much stronger position to just be like, no, she arrived, she nailed it. For me, it was, especially the first 2 lip syncs for her, not great, Jada. I think she won the final one, personally.
I don't feel as strongly as Horatio and Luke about it, but then I don't feel as opposed to them as Bob does. Like, to me, Crystal should have won this from not necessarily the whole competition, but clearly these lip syncs on what they were judged on tonight. Crystal's the most entertaining. The Birds was the most creative. That Pinata thing was amazing. To me, Crystal should have won. Yeah, I fan Crystal, but Gigi, to me, delivered what I expected from and nothing more. Jada did underwhelm me compared, because even though she is this beautiful, sexy, beautiful queen, she's been funny before. She's been better than this, and it was almost like RuPaul told her before this began, I'm crowning you girls, so don't worry, don't you save that makeup for when you got to tour the world or something. I don't know, she just didn't, because her makeup, which is normally flawless, was also not as good. Did you notice she hadn't blended some of the colors out? I was shocked, because her makeup skills, she could make Aquaria like be worried about who's better at makeup, or Miss Fame even, or someone. And I don't know, I'm not mad she won, because I think they're all incredibly talented, and all 3 of them could have had that crown and deserved it and earned it, but Crystal should have won.
Sorry. Actually, Luke, you go first.
I was just going to completely agree with what Suda finished with just at the end there. Coming into tonight, I thought any one of them could have had it, because they all come from such different places and do such different things. I just think based on the night, absolutely not. I think we've sort of started to touch on the final lip sync. I think that Jada, I think for me, was really selling like the realness of it. But was she selling it so completely that I thought she won? No, I don't think she did it as well. There was some times where it looked like she was sort of the last one left on the dance floor, and the lights are about to go on and everyone should probably go home now. And she was still kind of living her best life, but not selling a performance.
With the dance floor.
I think Crystal was actually a bit disappointing in the last lip sync as well. The costume was great, the look was great, but then did nothing with the lip sync. Whereas at least Gigi, I don't quite understand why Dorothy Gale was the reference for being a survivor, but she at least had the thought of, okay, I'm going to have a silver sparkly backdrop if we all have to have a sparkly backdrop, and I'm going to have grey balloons, and I'm going to be in grey, and then I'm going to reveal a big colour at the end, and then she flipped her skirt at the end to reveal the yellow brick road leading up her bum. Like, at least she thought of something, and she did something. Is it weird? Yes, but Crystal's weird too, and we love her for that. I quite liked the weirdness. I liked the burst of colour. I liked how real her Dorothy from Wizard of Oz was. Like, that outfit was perfect, down to the blue socks pulled halfway up the calf and the sparkly red shoes. And then the little yellow brick road reference as well. Do I get how it fits into Survivor? No, but on the basis of 3 fairly average lip syncs to finish, to me, hers was the best one. And therefore she would have won on points. But I still think that Crystal's Birds should have put her over the top anyway. And so that's why I was really keen to see which one of Gigi and Crystal it was going to be. And then when it was Jada, I'm like, huh?
So I wanted to just cover what Omar said earlier, but first of all, I'm going to give my thoughts on this lip sync first, because I completely disagree. It's a really interesting episode we're doing. I thought Gigi's final lip sync was really boring. Like, the reveal was super lame. The outfits were really lame. I expected so much more from her. They were costumey. Like, someone said in the chat that like Crystal's was costumey for her last look. To an extent, I get that, but I think Gigi's was far more costumey. Yeah, like good Wizard of Oz costume, but it's a costume. Like, and it wasn't an interesting dress like standing alone from that, you know. And the reveal was super lame. We've seen similar reveals but done far better. And like Flash in the Pants' Yellow Brick Road, like we've seen that so many times before. It didn't do anything for me. Like as I'm saying, like for me personally, that's why it's interesting that I feel differently about, like I feel about Gigi, how you guys feel about Jada. You know, I guess it is. I do think it is definitely subjective to a large extent with this one, but you guys don't. I don't think you guys necessarily agree. So I really Omar's comment, but first of all, I guess we talk about Gigi's lip sync first, and I'll go back onto Omar's comment afterwards. So Horatio.
Yeah, just very quickly, because I also have to go. My family is about to have dinner, so and it's a thing. We have to have dinner all together. I just think it is all subjective, of course, and it's great. We can't disagree. I just think that Gigi did something. It was not the most imaginative. It was not the most exciting. It was something. It was something, and Crystal didn't do anything in my eyes. What Jada did was very little, and a bit of the same stuff that she does. I mean, it was a Beyonce Destiny's Child song, so obviously she's gonna do the whole Beyonce thing, which we've already seen, and we kind of are sort of, all right, we've seen that. Can we have something new? Can we have a twist? Also, it was a funny version that had an abrupt stop at one point, and none of them seemed to sort of monetize on it or do something. I think maybe Gigi might have revealed her slippers at that point.
I think Gigi did.
Yeah, but it was kind of lost in the editing a little bit. So my point is, these lip syncs, I mean, this is not rocket science. These are tailored for you to do something at some point. You need to do a reveal. That's kind of what is expected at this point. Again, like Luke just said, think of rose petals. That is what you're against, even if you don't have the rose petals or that kind of degree. Do something. And neither Crystal nor Jada did anything to me. What Gigi did good wasn't maybe as good, but it was something. And I give her my personal crown from Spain. And I have to go now, guys. Thank you all, and lots of love. Bye.
Take care, lovely. You look after yourself. Yep.
I think, does anyone know who Mark Kanamura is? He's a dancer. He's been doing like a dance party on Instagram every day of lockdown or something. He's the one that does he's the one with the 7 wig reveals, with the like rainbow colored bob wigs. You know the guy. He's done huge things for like Pride in LA and things like this. He was once on So You Think You Can Dance. He's been a backing dancer for Lady Gaga and things like this as well. But he does this super camp, Mark Kanamura, and his Instagram is something like MKIK and then a number. But if you search Mark Kanamura with a K, both Mark and Kanamura with K's, then you should absolutely check him out. And he does basically lip syncs in his living room. This is what he's done for years, even before, like well before lockdown. And he does so much fun things, like so many fun things with reveals. He played, I can't remember the song, but there's a very prominent piano part. And so he has piano painted on him, and like that becomes a reveal. And then you see it's actually painted on his skin underneath. He does all of these really cool stuff. And then all of a sudden, like he'll pull a fan out of the back of his pants, and he'll thwack his fan, and then he'll reach behind the camera and pull out a big thing of helium balloons and let them all go and pop one, and then there's glitter everywhere. Like it's just kind of more and more and more extra. Where was that? This was the time to do that. You could do something big. I'm getting excited now.
Yeah, I was completely say I agree. Like I think they're all underwhelming. I'm just saying Gigi's was as well. Like I don't know, but yeah, so got to say Bob Densuter.
This is not me just trying to get back in Luke's good books. I 100% agree with this. But like, I think that was what was actually so weird about it for this final lip sync, is like, this is your final one. You've got like a square on your floor that's lit up. Like this is about as dramatic as you can really do for an in-home lip sync with like sparkly background. I was expecting a lot more from all of them for this final lip sync. This is why, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jada's final lip sync, it wasn't like I was like, yeah, like wipe the floor with them. It was like, I think personally for me, she was the better of the 3 in the last lip sync. And Luke's disagreed with me. I'm gone. I will never recover from this. But that was the thing. Like for me, like she was marginally better than them in the final lip sync, but none of them were like, yes, this is like what I came for. I was expecting for all of them being like, right, here is your final lip sync. It's to Destiny's Child. It's a really like big song. Like, where is the drama in any of this? Like, it's risky, you know, when Jada did a death drop, it's kind of risky because the camera has to kind of sink down with you a bit. So you kind of lose yourself a little bit. So not the best, but, you know, at least she did something in that sense. I don't know. It just, yeah, I like exactly. I think the Mark Kanamura comparison is like a really good one. Where was that? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's incredibly good at what he does, but how is it that like not one of them had like multi-layered reveals or like a really clever play on the lyrics or something that just kind of nailed it? Like, I think, yeah, because I think that's kind of what I was lacking is like normally the final lip sync, there's some kind of drama where you're like, you end on that high and then you feel really good about whoever wins because you've kind of carried on that momentum. Whereas I think what was quite weird about this was like a fairly flat lip sync from all three involved and then a crowning. And like that doesn't quite, I think that's why some people feel a bit disappointed with the outcome perhaps, is because it doesn't feel like it ended on that high. Like if for example, Sasha had beat Shay in that first lip sync, but without doing anything that dramatic, I think people would have been a bit like, oh, where's Shay gone? Like, I think it was the fact that Sasha did that meant that that momentum was still riding high into the crowning where you're like, yeah, this makes sense. Like that was brilliant. And I think that was what was, sorry, I'm really rabbiting on here, but I think that's what was really missing for me in that final lip sync was like that spark of magic that really made me end on that high and really, where was our happy ending is basically what I'm saying.
Sorry, I just want to quickly say, I completely agree with you. You're totally right. But at the same time, I think that's also a reason we shouldn't be too hung up on the last lip sync because I think we've all agreed no one excelled in the last lip sync anyway. Whereas the second lip sync was like fair. They all sort of showcased exactly what they wanted to showcase in that second lip sync. So for me, that was the focus, 100%, really, or like 80% of my like marks went on that second lip sync. Whereas the last one, they're all kind of bland, like. There are too many like constraints in place. Where a second one, I could do literally whatever they wanted. So that for me, that was far more important. So sorry to interject. Go on, Suga.
My issue with Gigi is she's like a cosplay queen at this point, and not that that's a bad thing. Because her looks are stunning, they're well crafted, and she executes them flawlessly normally. But for the final bloody lip sync, I don't want to see Dolphy in the Wizard of Oz. I want to see Gigi Good, who. For the entire competition, I've been struggling to truly see. I would have rather come out as bloody Maria the Robot and done a reveal or something. But you know, because that was so clever, and I really got to understand her and her non-binary identity and how she is channeling that through her drag. But at the moment, like that was it's not America's Next cosplayer, you know, and I agree with Bob on a lot of what he said. It was so that considering the lip sync before you could actually justify RuPaul fetching 3 into the final. Well, that's a way to shit on Ru. And I mean, Ru did a lot wrong. Like, oh yeah, can we all talk about we got to cancel RuPaul for that shitty look? Because we're all moaning about Jada. Well, look at the way RuPaul dressed. I bet she was like, "I'm not performing for you, bitch."
Yeah, we ended that. Yeah, exactly what Rex Stroke's saying. Omar's coming with all the tea apparently. So he's saying they had 2 weeks to prepare, and Jada had like 4 or 5 days to prepare. I wasn't aware of that. Could you please elaborate? And he's also saying Gigi's in deep shit for breaking lockdown, hanging out with Jeffrey. Had no idea. Oh, did they do a video together? I don't think.
And it's amazing, and that's what she should have done for her twin challenge. They both wear these beautiful snake skin coat outfits, and they look amazing. And I was like, "Where was that on your twin challenge, bitch?"
When did it come out? Did I see that video? I feel like I saw it.
23 minutes before the episode of All Stars came out. The final came out. Sorry.
Oh, so I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Oh, okay, interesting.
It's a good video, but Gigi is such a sycophant. It will pulse me out sicko. And then she's like, "Oh, get likes, and me and Jeffrey would be." Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of how she wants to be RuPaul. I mean, I think part of it is because she is so young. Also, so Omar saying, also, by the way, some information Nikki Doll shared in a live video. Jade had 8 entire days to prepare than Gigi and Crystal. Her package was lost in the mail. Interesting. So she had 4 to 5 days, and the others had 2 weeks or so. I still want to go, Omar. Just so you know, I do want to go for your previous comment, but Bob, you go first. But then we've gone to Omar's previous comment.
So I was going to say with the preparing thing for Jada, if that is true, obviously that sucks in terms of it taking a bit longer. Although I will say, I don't know how much it would change things. Your like the little lighting box and the silvery thing not coming would be, because like you can still ultimately do a lot of the planning and prep. I would have thought. I mean, I'm not a professional drag queen. I don't know this stuff, but like I would have thought you could still like plan out all your concepts, get like understand where your camera would be, think everything through, get your costume ready, and then be like maybe make the last little changes, being like, oh, my outfit clashes a little bit with this curtain. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought it would have changed too much.
So I choreograph for our choir, and so I know that when you are putting on a show, you need to know the dimensions of what you got to work with and kind of maybe what else is around. She could absolutely have been told, you're going to get some tinsel to hang from your ceiling, and you're going to have this much space and flooring and balloons. But I completely agree with Bob. You went back in the good books, Bob. That like it wouldn't have made a difference, because like someone should have done is maybe gone and hidden in the tinsel and then come back out again, used it somehow for their performances. Go around in the final chorus of Survivor and burst all of the balloons and stand triumphant over dead balloons. Like, do some fucking thing, right? Come on. You've all got the same thing so that it's all fair. So, but use that. Like, that's what you have to use. Why did no one use it? I'm so disappointed in general, but especially with Jada. Sorry.
Can you imagine poor Jan right now? She's like, that's what you're going to do? I had this plan and this plan. I was going to shoot rocket launches out of my titties. I was going to do a dinosaur laser party. And all you do is that. I'm not robbed. But it's really because Britta went home.
Yeah,
Yes, all of this.
Yeah. Makes me miss Shangela as well. So I should go back to Omar's previous comment. It was more relevant before, but I'm going to read it anyway because I thought it was an interesting point. He says, so the Drag Race fans keep thinking queens need to be the future of drag, etc. They don't need to be. They just need to be their authentic self and do what they do best. So I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting as well. But also, I suppose like what you guys have been saying is, and I agree with this part, is like I don't think it was Jada's best. Like, and also I don't think. And for me personally, like I don't think we've seen enough of her authentic self. And I do think like jumping off Omar's point, like I do agree with the sentiment, but also as Bob was saying at the time, I do feel like I'm kind of like twisting what you're saying a little bit, Bob, but like she's kind of a bland winner, right? Like I don't think we're going to be like look back in 10 years time, be like Jada's going to stand out from the bunch, you know. And I agree. I don't always be like crazy arts queens. They can kind of excel at what they do. I really do believe that 100%. But I don't think I think my personal issue is where I do agree with all you guys is I don't think Jada does excel as much as she could. You know, I think she's very, very good at what she does, but she's not like draw-dropping amazing kind of thing. And it's kind of like what Horatio reminded me. He's talking about Monet winning All Stars. Actually, Trinity, both of them, like neither of them. Again, I think they're two examples. Like whereas Alaska and Trixie are in a different lane, or Malila or Bendler, they're in a different lane completely to Monet and Trinity. It's the same sort of thing. I feel like Jada for me is like a Trinity Monet as opposed to like an Alaska, you know. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. And by the way, I do think Monet's gotten a lot better recently, but at the time Monet won the show, that's what I'm saying. I just want to back up the last point you guys are saying as well in terms of like, just want to reiterate, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I don't, with what you're saying about the last lip sync, it was very, very disappointing. But that's why I think in terms of the way we're viewing like who won in the finale and that, I really do think we should focus more on the second set of lip syncs. Go on, Sue. Then Luke.
Maybe Jada won because she lent RuPaul that face mask.
In that case, if we're going on the second lip sync, then I say that that Jada still doesn't win. I say then Crystal wins.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. That's how I feel. Crystal's my winner personally. But I do think that's difficult here, isn't it? They should just mirror it. But I do think personally, I prefer Jada to Gigi. But I think it is apples and oranges personally. Although you know, I do know you guys don't feel like that. But I think we all want Crystal to win kind of anyway, right? So Omar's saying, well, sorry, Luke, do you want to say something? Or you?
I was just going to say I really liked Crystal. I wasn't absolutely sort of gunning for Crystal to win. I thought that going into it that anyone could win. I appreciate how zany Crystal is and just how far she goes and how fresh that is. And I really appreciate the freshness. And certainly tonight, the birds, oh my God, I just can't even. Like, that won me over to Crystal's sort of style and sense of humor. I don't know, it wasn't really touching me before. Like, I could see, okay, yeah, that's clever, and yeah, that's funny, and yeah, that's out of the box and whatever, but it just wasn't really appealing to me. Whereas tonight, absolutely, that all sort of came together for me. Yeah, so I was not going into tonight not wanting Jada to win. I thought that if Jada did great things on tonight's show, then absolutely she should win. But just for me, she was kind of absent for the whole night. It was just a competition between the other two to me. That's why I'm so confused by the outcome.
Interesting. Oh, also, sorry, one thing I do want to say, which is like another completely different point, but it's very relevant, is as far as I'm aware, Jada had the most hashtag votes or whatever, right? So I think that would play into it as well, and I think that has played into it significantly in previous seasons. So yeah, so I guess we have kind of covered everything now, right? So did you guys have anything else you wanted to say specifically about the finale and the winner? Yeah, go on, Luke.
Where was the pit crew? We're all in lockdown. We're thirsty bitches. Thank you, Sude. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Exactly right. Correct.
I got my those palm tree boxes on as well.
My darling, you are the winner of this week's challenge.
100%. So saying we could afford pit crew member in our stream. At least they could do a chuck one in there. I totally agree, 100%.
I'm a very disappointing pit crew member. I'm the in training one.
No, you're slaying the game. You're slaying the game. So should we move on to recommendations in that then? Cool. Sorry, go on, Luke. On.
Sorry, this is not so much a recommendation, but this is a reply to Kurt. So Kurt just said, "Hey, Grant and Bob, get shirtless." Rude.
Trust me, none of you want to see this. I mean, I had to put clothes on to be on this stream, and like I think that's the best for everybody. Honestly. So thank you though, Kurt.
Don't make me be Tyra, because I'll be like, I take my shirt off, I know they're taking their shirt off, I know they're taking their shirt off. I want Grant to know that it was my idea, that I came up with it first. My Tyra impression.
That's fair. This is Suter's moment. Let him have it. Come on, everyone. Like I feel like we've gone into it's been a really fun stream. I feel like we've had very good debate, but I feel like we've covered all our points, right? We've all been heard. We've all acknowledged each other's existence, and we all should be very proud about that. No, Bob's ruined it. What you got to say?
Oh no, sorry. I just realised we haven't we need to at some point go back over and look at our predictions versus what actually happened.
Yeah, I was going to do it earlier on. I literally was going to mention at the beginning, but we got so caught up in everything, I forgot. So actually, you guys talk about your recommendations or whatever else you want to talk about. Actually, do you see UNTs for the final episode or no? Nah, I agree. That's not actually. It's only 3 of them. We can't do CUNT anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and look for our WhatsApp group, see if I can find it quick. And if I can't, I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll do it another time, like next All Stars 5 or something.
I think the main thing, we were really wrong about a couple of them.
I was right about one thing, which is I really said Crystal would be in the final, and literally none of you agreed.
Yeah,
I really
I
hard to get Crystal in the final.
I am angry with myself
you.
for having doubted you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that I was wrong in this. But yeah, I think we thought Britta would be like really high.
Yeah, sorry. So sorry, I'm gonna go look for it. So I can't. It's difficult for me to.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So if you guys like talk about that or do recommendations, I'm going to quickly through and see if I can find it.
My recommendation is non-alcoholic beer, and I'm not joking. I can drink a bit too much, and I'm starting to regret it during quarantine because I'm finding it really hard to set boundaries between work and play, if you get me. So what I've started doing now, I have one normal beer, and I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer on top of them. And it's like I'm still having in the garden, enjoying the sun, and I feel like I'm having a few beers. But it's just helping me maintain control of my life because, as you can see, I'm a bit eccentric and all that. So if you can imagine me on drunk, I'm super happy or super sad. And I mean, if this is me normal happy, you can imagine what I'm like drunk. So I'm just saying, if anyone's struggling with their drinking and you don't want to go completely cold turkey, non-alcoholic alcohol is a really good alternative, and it tastes exactly the same.
Love that. I was just say, I thought, yeah, no, that's awesome. Like, that's a really clever idea, and really cool that you're like prioritizing your like mental health in that way. You realize what's best for you and what's healthiest for you, and you made changes to like accommodate that. That's awesome. And also, you're right, because like Ralph, who's on the streams a lot, he is sober, and he left loads of non-alcoholic beer at my place, and like I literally don't know which if I'm drinking beer with alcohol in a lot of the time because they do taste very, very similar. And I grab one out of the fridge. Even still, I think there's a couple left in there. So yeah, that's great. That's really good advice. I know a lot of people are drinking more. So I think that's honestly really great advice.
Because I was drinking way too much, and it was getting to the point I was waking up drunk, and I'm not 16 anymore. You know, that's not a good look for anybody. Like the reason my hair went green is because I was still drunk the next morning, and I found it in the cupboard, and then I decided to wash my hair with it. I didn't actually want to go green. So that's a secret.
For a split second, I thought you were saying that alcohol had made your hair turn green, and I was like, "Is this like a side effect I'd never heard of before?" Like,
I would not stop thinking if it changed my hair color.
Is it acorn? Like, who knows?
Oh my god! Imagine that it's like Alice in Wonderland when you go big and small. Eat me. I'm going to be careful here phrasing.
Oh god. Okay, so I found the list. Should we have a quick look at the list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to show up on the thing. So, okay, we put Suit wasn't. I don't think you weren't a part of making this list, so you're not culpable for this. And also, I disagreed with a lot of this list. I just want to re-point out again. So 13th we had Aiden, fair, right? 12th Widow, fair. 11th, oh shit, I can't see her name. Someone beginning S. Who begins with S?
Dahlia Sin, maybe.
I don't know. Dali's higher up.
Sherry Pie.
Oh yeah, I think we did think she was going to do quite badly.
There's two beginning with S. Okay, maybe that might be Sherry. Yeah.
Wait,
Number
why
10.
can't you read concentrate?
Because I was writing it so fast. I don't know. Like my handwriting shit. I don't pay attention. Because number 10.
A picture of it's just a picture of a giant.
Wait, is it focusing? Yeah. What does that say?
I think that might be. I think you've written Shaz. I think it's Sherry.
Is it Sherry?
Shaz.
It's definitely an SH, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, the next one.
I see skunk.
Do you want to just keep going and see who we miss out?
Yeah, is the next one Jack though? Who's Jack? Where's she come
Jackie.
from? Oh, Jackie Cox.
Cox.
Right, what is up with your note taking?
Are you sure this is for this season?
Yeah.
This is actually just a shopping list. And
Grant, you would have a look at them for a minute because I know the top 4 I picked because I put them in the comments. I believe I picked my top 4 was Sherry Pie, Jackie Cox, Gigi Good, and Jan. I'm pretty sure that was my top 4.
I take you into us, but like I said, I didn't agree with a lot of this list personally.
We were quite divided, in fairness.
Can I just say though as well, like you guys sit next to me, you know how horrific my handwriting is when I'm not paying attention. But in my defense, my handwriting is ridiculously like neat when I focus on it. So don't like take this.
So proud of you.
Okay, so
All evidence to the contrary.
very true. Okay, so number 9, Gigi. What's going on there?
I think her her Meet the Queens look I think was quite underwhelming. So I wonder if that's for me at least. I don't know if that's why. And she did seem a bit dead, like behind the eyes in the interviews. I think.
Also fair. Oh, I was saying I write Sakura. I think I did. Sakura. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with that when we wrote that list, to be honest. Thank you, Omar. How's Omar? God, none of us did. Number 8's Jan. Fair. Number 7. Who is number 7?
No, I think that's SAH. I think that's Sakura.
SAK.
Oh, it looks like SAH. I don't know what you were doing.
It does look like SAH, you're right. But maybe
Next to Jan. Oh, no.
Next to Jan.
Oh, next to Jan.
And this is why you should all fill in that spreadsheet I sent you all.
That's
I forgot about that spreadsheet.
Oh, I forgot about the spreadsheet as well.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
That's SAK.
Okay. No, you're right. So that means the other one must have been Sherry. Lower one must have been Sherry.
I think you wrote
Sherry.
I think you wrote Shares or Shaz. That feels like very Grant to me. Like
yeah,
that.
totally. Oh, yeah, you're totally right. Okay, number 6, Crystal. I wanted her higher, but 6 isn't too bad. Number 5, probably because I pushed it, Dahlia.
Yeah, I think all the rest of us
Oh no, to be fair, at the time we had no idea she was going to go there.
And in fairness, she was
I
in
think
the
everyone must have liked her. She's Arja's drag daughter, mate. So
Yeah,
that probably made her up.
Talk about dead behind the eyes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, to an extent.
What's wrong with being dead behind the eyes?
She was
Not sure of anything.
No.
she was in the episode where the person in the top with the top 5, like she was with them, she just wasn't competing. Like, so, you know, we weren't fully wrong. Although I think that
Very
was
true.
heavily influenced by you, because I think we brought down the average. I think you'd put her like top 3 or something.
I think so, probably. Because, like, can I say,
Like,
like
we
Suter
definitely
said-
brought down the average.
I think so. Like Suter said, though, to be fair, like, we didn't really know anything about her, but apart from she's Arja's drag daughter, which, like, boded well for her personality. But she looked, especially like her Meet the Queens look, was amazing, to be fair. Like,
Okay, good.
it's like, was it
And
like a
normally-
door mixed with Arja?
But her whole like oh sorry.
I'm just saying, don't drag queens' daughters normally do really well on the show as well?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then again, Banji went out first as well. So
And Kahana Montrese as well.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. Okay, we know for next year then. Like,
Aquaria
if it's
did. She's Sharon's, because everyone seems to forget that Aquaria is Sharon Needle's drag daughter.
She was more like an assistant for a while, wasn't she?
I was going to say, they're
No,
not that close
she's
to
a
each other.
drag daughter.
Yeah, but it's not a close relationship
No.
compared to like.
Are you
Arja
close to
and
your
Bella.
daddy?
But she's not in the House of Needles, is she, surely? Like,
No.
Yeah, she's a drag daughter.
she might be a drag
So-
daughter, but is she in the House of Needles is my question. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Is there a House of Needles? I thought it was. I didn't even know there was one. Because I know Miss Cracker is Bob's drag daughter, like
But again, it's the
proper
same-
full on.
Yeah, I know, but kind of it's the same sort of thing though. Whereas like Arja's like drag house, I think they all live together. Like they're very, very close. For
Yeah.
example, so like I think it is different, right? I don't know. Okay, I remember. I personally strongly disagree with this one. Number 4, Nikki Doll.
Oh yeah. Hang on, wasn't
No,
that
I
again?
didn't.
Was that another one where like we brought down the average, or were we voting her
No,
higher?
no. I did not want Nikki Doll high. I remember thinking she was bad. But
In fairness, I think I might have said something like 5th or 6th.
I don't know.
Looking back, I think if I'm right, I think I remember thinking she was going to be like one of those queens who kind of like oh god, what's her name on season 5? The one who Jinx fancied.
What Miss
Hey,
Fame?
Winter.
I think I kind of she's like not quite going to make it all the way, but we'll have like a lot of kind of like a Heidi, right? Where like she's kind of quite well liked and like and whatever, but then never quite makes it to the top. But I don't know. Yeah, I was wrong. I was so wrong.
That's what I wanted. Number 3, Jada.
I mean, we were right.
Yeah,
I
fair.
think that's,
She
I
was in
think
the
that's
top 3. Like,
and she would have been 3rd in that list.
Ooh, girl. Well, okay. I think this is still fair. I stand by this one. Heidi's number 2.
Oh, well, thank
again,
you.
I think
Ooh.
that was. I have a feeling that was one where Grant put her number 1, and a few of us put her like 4th. Or something.
No, I would put Crystal number 1 or Dahlia number 2 probably if I'm my way. And number 1, can you guys see that? Wait, we're going the wrong
Oh,
way.
no, Krista. Oh my god, did we?
No,
we
no.
actually- Oh, British.
Britta.
Wait,
Meet
Britta.
the Queens was really
Britta.
good.
Sorry.
Her Meet the Queens was like funny. Like she seemed really confident.
And I've heard that all of New York love her.
And not into your club.
That's true.
And like,
Where did you hear that? That's news to me. I learned that today, years old.
she'd been rumored to be on like the season for on Drag Race for so long.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of one of those things where a lot of us were like, yeah, she's gonna like nail it.
Yeah,
And
I think
that
that's fair.
Can I say, I prefer Britta. I think she looks better out of drag. I mean, I do Britta out of drag. I'm sorry, I thought she was really cute out of drag. When the sign fell down, I was like, I'll help you pick that up.
I feel bad that Horatio wasn't part of this list part because I think this is his whole shtick is like lists and statistics, right?
Yeah, he's already on my spreadsheet. I haven't had it back off him, but he was straight in there. I want in.
Can we do this sheet now and just like fudge the numbers and be like, oh my
I
god,
don't think it's sent properly. I'll send it to Grant. I'll send the spreadsheet to Grant, and then he can, because it'll be easier then, and then you can just send it back to me.
Go on, Luke.
Kurt's just asked if we can pick our favourite moment from the season.
I literally was just about to draw attention. You're right. That's a good thing to do. You guys go first. I can't remember.
I've got two that immediately spring to mind, which are Gigi's Snatch Game, because I really, really loved that. I thought that was really clever. And it was a crystal thing, and now I can't remember what crystal thing it was. It was just crystal.
Mine's a sprinkler!
Maybe that. I think no, that was it. It was her video where she had like the whole like and then like hammering things, and, like her in like an 80s video version of a mall where she's all like, oh no, like for me like that whole.
Was there a sign in front of that table that just said science? Or did she say yeah? Because science.
Because it was her science table, and she had to tell everyone that.
Oh, I love that you reminded us of that. That was so good. I'll tell you what my favourite bit is. Yeah, hammering the mullet. But also reminded me, I think it's one of my favourite moments, my other joint favourite moment. Again, I don't know if I was the only one who found this really funny, but go back and watch it. Like when Heidi's one of the first girls to come in the episode she's in, and then like I think like Rue comes on saying, yeah, did I show you guys? And she's like, oh, we came over, right? Yeah, we ran it, showed you. She's like, Rue says, should we bring back the other girls? And you just hear Heidi saying, no. like, you guys remember that? That's proper funny. Like, Heidi's been great the whole season.
Heidi, isn't it? I'm going to agree with Omar for mine, which is, I can't do it, but her soft and supple and her Tears of a Drag Queen video.
That was so good.
Absolutely lived. And she took direction so well. And it was so funny. It was so funny.
I sent you guys a compilation of every moment of Crystal. That's basically my highlight of the show. Anytime Crystal was on screen.
Fair. Omar's got the same favourite one as Luke, and Kurt's favourite moment was seeing Jan go home, which I love. That's probably funny.
That's brutal.
I love that. Cool. Okay. So yeah, let's wrap up because it's been going for 2 hours now. It's been a good one, but that's enough now, everyone. Do you have any recommendations or anything before we leave?
What have I been even doing? I don't. Good for Luke.
Go on, Luke.
I have a recommendation. Please stay socially distant. I see all sorts of groups of people, like 20 or 40 people, hugging everyone in the group. I'm on lockdown. Everyone else is on lockdown. Some people. Okay, I'm slight little soapbox moment. Apologies, everyone. If you're breaking all of the rules, you're the one that's delaying and prolonging lockdown. You're the ones who are making it hard for everyone, as well as for yourselves, but also for those of us who are doing the right thing. And even more importantly than that, for those of us who are shielding, who actually can't even leave the house to go grocery shopping, you get to go out and enjoy the park with 6 friends. Keep it to 6 friends, not 40 friends, because those people can't even go out to the park because they might die. That's my recommendation.
To add on to that, you are not allowed to cross the bridge and enter Wales, and it is actually a huge problem, right? You cannot cross the bloody bridge and come down the beach, down Wales. You're not meant to go that far. Because loads of it, I'm not trying to be a dick, but a lot of English people are crossing, and it's causing murders because it's getting ridiculous. And I swear to God, our dragon will eat you.
But no, like, seriously, like, completely all of the above said person living with 2 70-year-old parents who is constantly terrified. And, like, even, like, last week, I went for a distance walk with a friend and spent the entire, like, 3 hours or whatever it was, constantly just, like, so nervous, thinking, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, we were, like, both incredibly careful. Like, we had masks, we had, like, everything, but still, like, and this is what really scares me. Like this was pre the 6 people being allowed thing. We walked past groups of like 8, 10, clearly not from the same household. There's a whole thing. Sorry, this is my soapbox moment now. I know people are starting to complain because Greece is starting to reopen borders to incoming guests, or at least talk about it for to basically get the tourism industry back up for some of those islands. And they've said already that they see that people from the UK are not they're not allowing people from the UK currently to be part of that list because we've not handled it well and we're higher risk. I know a lot of people are going to complain and be like, oh. I mean, there's a large element to which the government is massively responsible for parts of that, and also that a lot of the public have really let themselves down and many others down in a way that's incredibly selfish and rude, and it angers me because we've all sacrificed so many things, and a lot of people don't seem to get that that's something that we all need to do. So that's I'm pissed.
Yeah, I totally agree with all you guys. Although I do just open my window sometimes as people walking past and give them a little cough, like out the window, just to make sure. No, yeah, of course, I totally agree with all you guys. Okay, cool. Should we end it there then?
It's been real.
It's been real.
Yeah.
And hey, was it next week or the week after?
Exactly. Next week, I think,
Five.
there's literally no break whatsoever. Give us your let us know what you thought of this season. Down.
Yeah, and sorry, Omar's recommendation: Black Lives Matter, 100%. Like,
Absolutely.
it is beyond messed up what is happening in the US and everywhere else at the moment. But
Crazy.
yeah, Black Lives Matter, 100%.
Crazy. So yeah, but like I said, leave your thoughts on this season under this video, because let's move on from the season now to All Stars 5 literally next week, right? We're going to have some sort of separation, so we should move on to next season next week. So I'll see you guys back. We'll carry on live stream same sort of time. We've been pretty consistent, 8 p.m. roughly UK time.
I'm gonna shave so I look like a different person for it. That's the only, just so it can feel like something new.
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel looked so cute shaved. I know you like Harry, but he looked so cute, and he's got such an aggressive, pouty demeanor. And it was like you look so cute.
I'm gonna make him watch this bit. So yeah, okay, cool. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining in the stream. And yeah, we'll be back again next week, most probably, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Love
Bye.
you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.